Started as an East Coast vibe, now I'm going worldwide, we got this bitch going crazy. I used to take the Mazda for a drive, now I'm on the 405 like it's fuck you, pay me. We really sick of standing outside, had to push them all aside, it's what you get for trying to play me. I bet they make a movie when I die, just to talk about my life, they need an actor to portray me. I got this motherfucker clear like an eye drop. I got elevator flow, I'm on a high top. I got little something stacked like an IHOP. This is 05, you will put it on your iPod. I'ma give you something that you can't forget. Put the price up, baby, add the tax a bit. Know you saw the comma, thought it was an accident. Well, it wasn't. It's about time, the kids buzzing. I'm trying to get a peek in the elevator. But if we talking peaks, I need mine like the Himalayas. I'm talking yay high, man, I never had a vertical limit. I ain't seen you put in work in a minute. I gotta put on for the family, that goes for every person that's in it. Used to scrape by, working as a service attendant, till I got more. Bitch, I ain't comfy, I need the top floor. Doing anything to get that spot for. Started as an East Coast vibe, now I'm going worldwide, we got this bitch going crazy. I used to take the Mazda for a drive, now I'm on the 405 like it's fuck you, pay. We really sick of standing outside, had to push them all aside, it's what you get for trying to play me. I bet they make a movie when I die, just to talk about my life, they need an actor to portray me. I ain't settling for nothing that be under an M. There's only one of me, there's 100 of them. Gotta listen close, I drop hundreds of gems. From the start, no, I wasn't pretend. With the world on my back, had to drop my own ego. Problems at the crib, we couldn't fix at Home Depot. That was on tilt, moms off the vino. Room full of smoke like we lived in a casino. She know, day I moved out is when I opened my eyes. Looking for the truth like God, show me a sign. I'm not religious or the holiest kind, but the blessings came to me when I opened my mind. I was running around the city, man, I knew I had to make some. Wasn't raised a thief, but if I had to, I would take some. Worked the Frito-Lay, I was writing on my breaks, son. Plotting on a record, waiting for the day we break one.
No, I was just, no, I'm really busy, just wrapping up some stuff in the studio. Yeah, everything's good. I mean, it's just been a lot of, like, settling in and whatnot. Yeah. I'm not really sure when I'm coming back. I don't have any plans of it right now.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no L's, I gotta get a no call to quits, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all it is. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out, knocked out. My heart on my sleeve.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the Designated Spittaz. I am with my guy, Derek. What's going on, brother?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Look, man, the Yankees have won 3 series out the gate to start the season. I don't have much to complain about. As a Yankee fan, we can always complain. We can always find something to be a little upset about, maybe to complain about a little bit. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather be 7-2 than 6-3. I feel like we should have won that first game in Baltimore.
I agree.
I would like Clark Schmidt to be pitching a little bit better.
Or not pitching at all.
Yeah, one or the other. I would prefer if we didn't have 11 guys on the IL on April 9th.
Yes.
But otherwise, all things considered, we've held serve. We're doing okay.
Yeah, we're doing okay, man. There's a lot of positives we were talking about before the show. And in today's show, we're obviously going to get to a lot of that stuff. Like you're talking about right there of how to start. Well, nobody started better than the Rays right now. The Rays are 9-0. The only reason I'm bringing this up is during Game Season Live, I had a lot of people, Pete, are you concerned about the Rays? Are you worried about the Rays? Are you this about the Rays? And my only answer is the Rays are always in contention. Mm-hmm. They're always kind of there. You can never really just shovel them to the side. They haven't played the greatest teams in the world, one, but the Yankees also aren't healthy, and they're playing pretty good baseball. I don't think you really complain too much about how they're playing baseball.
Yeah, Yanks are playing all right. One thing I will say about the Rays is they're really good at beating the teams they're supposed to beat. You remember a couple of years ago, the Yankees really struggled against the bottom half of the division, and I think the Rays were like 18-1 against the Orioles. They're great at beating the teams that they should beat, and they're doing that so far. But I will say this about the Rays. I don't know if they have the depth to survive like a number of injuries. They've got to stay healthy. They just don't have the guys ready to come up, especially on the pitching side.
No doubt about it. And the Yankees are, like we said, they're just managing. But let me go ahead and give a quick shout out to the chat. We got my man Anthony Medina, Zach Brownish, Scott Wright. What's going on, fellas? Dane Huber doing an amazing job, by the way, Dane, on all the Yankees minor league stuff at NYNewsTV.com. Keep it rolling. Matthew, what's going on, brother? L.I. Yankee King, Yojo, Philo. What's going on, everybody? As you guys continue to pour in. Thank you. Crackle Nuts. That's the guy. Crackle Nuts, that I got in the thing. That's the great name. Crackle Nuts is amazing. Don't you love when you see a name like that? Do you have to do you shout it out on your side?
Wompbag Doodle.
Wompbag Doodle. Yes, he was in the chat earlier.
There's a few of those. Every once in a while you get one. So when I get my notifications for comments, I just throw them on the screen. I don't necessarily always read the names, but then when I start reading out loud, a lot of times I'll say the name and I'll realize that when I'm pronouncing it, it's like a really offensive or a really awful name that somebody made up, obviously just to screw with me.
Yeah.
And I've had to message a couple of people like, man, I can't put that on the screen anymore. Like, you make great comments, but change your name.
I got a really cool one that was in the chat earlier today. He's a new member to the channel. Steph Curry McFlurry.
Oh, I love that.
I love
That's
that.
Great.
Steph Curry McFlurry. I'm like, I gotta shout that out every time. But Derek, we gotta start with a young Yankee starting pitcher who's really emerging right now, and that is Jhony Brito. A lot of people didn't even have this guy as a top Yankee pitching prospect. They were always just say he's one of those guys. Yeah. He's one of those guys. He could do, if he gets a couple of things going, he'd be really good. So based off the people I spoke to, Dane Huber being one of them, Rich in the chat, Rich Riscucci is another one, who mentioned this quite a bit, is that in the offseason, he added a lot of mileage. So that fastball sinker velocity has gone up to the mid to upper 90s. And I tell you what, man, this kid looks really good. Last time we spoke, I believe you also mentioned that he needs to start, he needs that other pitch, that third pitch. And now he's throwing that curveball a little more.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
He looks phenomenal, man. He looks really good for the Yankees right now.
Yeah, the other night, I thought his changeup actually wasn't as effective, but what impressed me more was that he was able to pivot. Like, he was able to use the breaking ball more, the curveball, and he went to the hard sinker. You know, when they were jumping all over the changeup early on, I think it was Cedric Mullins waited on a changeup in the first at-bat and lined it to left field. Next guy
poked it out.
Next guy waited on one and hit it right back at him, and it ricocheted off him, and he said, all right, changeup is not getting the results I want tonight. So he started going to that fastball. And that's the difference with the added velocity. If he's throwing 92, 93, he might not get away with as much. You know, They might say, all right, well, he's starting to go with the fastball, and it's easy to hit 92 for a major league. Well, not easy, but it's way easier than 96, 97. And I don't know if the velocity will be sustainable over the full season. A lot of times when you see somebody add velocity, you remember Jordan Montgomery a couple years ago, throwing 95, 96 in April and May. By the end of the year, it was back down to 91 to 93. I don't know if it's sustainable, but we might not need it to be. If he can give us a couple of good months and then go back down to the minor leagues and get some work once it starts to fade a little bit, I mean, I'm confident he can be effective while he's here.
Yeah, and I mean, as of right now and what we're seeing, this guy looks like somebody that belongs here. He doesn't look like somebody that when he's on the mound, you go, oh, man, you know, I hope he gets through 3. I hope he can make it through those 3 innings, that one time through the order. He's showing that he has the stuff to get lefties and righties out. He's showing he can also go through that order multiple times and do enough to get him out. You brought up a great point. I noticed that when I was calling that game, is the sinker, he didn't have his best command, one. He's known by Baseball America. Every scouting organization says he has the best control in the Yankee system. He didn't have control. It was effectively wild, so to say, but not really pinpoint.
Right.
But the one thing I'll say about him is, as the lineup went over again, he started to go more to that curveball. Even if it wasn't a great pitch, He'll throw it outside. He'll just get the thought process going that, oh, this guy has something else.
Yeah.
And then he will work high in the zone, changeups low and away, sometimes too far outside. But you can see he's pitching out there.
Yeah.
He has that mindset of saying, hey, if I don't have the 97, 98, I can still go 94, 95, hit corners, work locations, and do a good job of doing it. This is a major league starting pitcher. It's that simple.
Yeah. When you talk about the sinker, I just thought I would demonstrate to the audience how a sinker works. There's a couple of different ways. Some guys will throw it along with the seams, and it's basically a two-seamer. And a lot of guys will throw with their two fingers in between the seams. And
Move it a little over so we can see it. There you go, right there.
All right, there we go.
Perfect.
So the thumb will be on the bottom seam, and then the two fingers will be in the middle. And something that can happen with sinker ball pitchers in cold weather is that as your hands get a little bit colder and you start to lose that feeling, that can be really slick on the top of the ball. That's why guys wanted to have that sticky substances on the ball. And so it doesn't surprise me that a sinker baller in cold weather like we had in Baltimore was maybe not as sharp. But the fact that he was able to kind of pitch through it and get around, like Roger Clemens used to say, it's easy to dominate with your best stuff. It's when you don't have your best stuff that you go out there and win. Those are the most satisfying victories. And to me, that just shows that he's further along than we thought. 27th ranked prospect, really, really shocking me.
Bingo. I mean, and that's it right there, right? 27. You see the stuff this guy has, and you go, whoa, somebody missed something here. Something was missed here. I know he's 25 years old now, so he's kind of getting a little up there in age, so to say, when it comes to prospect status. But he's put on a show, and just to piggyback off of what you just said, he didn't have his best stuff, but he faced the Baltimore Orioles, who you could make an argument is one of the better offenses in the league.
At home.
At home.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a great point, is that no question this guy had to fight through a bit of adversity there. I remember the first inning going, it's first and third, nobody outs. Oh, man, this may not be a good performance. He might be out of this game pretty quick. To look forward to that from that moment, if somebody goes, nah, Pete, I go 5 innings, 1 run, I'll be like, no friggin' way.
Yeah.
There's no way. And that shows you something about where he is in this point of his career.
Yeah, I think if it comes down to who stays in the rotation, once guys start coming back, right now I think Brito has the advantage over. He's definitely got the advantage over Schmidt, and I think he's got the advantage over Herman at this point, just because results speak for themselves. Although I will say this, Herman gave up a couple of home runs, but he did have 8 strikeouts. The swing and miss stuff was there.
Yeah, right. And
so
look,
we'll see.
The thing about if you look at those 3 guys. I agree with you. I think it's a very close Herman Brito. Very close. One thing about Herman that you can't ignore, he has done it in the past.
Experience. Yep.
He has the experience of doing it in the past. He's won, what did he win, 18 games that one year?
Yeah, I think it was 18
something
and
like
4.
That, 18 and something. And he's always been a guy that when you put him in a rotation, he finds success every now and then, or he's somewhat consistent. Clark Schmidt, on the other hand, man, the Yankees got to make their mind up. And I don't mean that in a sense of, we DFA'd this guy and let him go. Last year, the Yankees put Clark Schmidt in a role, and he excelled at it. This year, maybe not even to their own doing because of all the injuries, he's back in the rotation, when in reality, maybe his best role is that 2-inning relief pitcher, 3-inning guy. Every now and then, I'll grab a start. Maybe that is his best role.
Yeah, someone messaged me today and said, look, the Yankees aren't giving him a chance to get through the order. Yes, they are. He's just not able.
They are.
He's just not able to do it. They would absolutely love for him to go out and give 5 or 6 innings.
Of course.
And they've let him start in the minor leagues, and he's been able to do it. But the major leagues is a whole different animal. If you don't have swing and miss stuff, or if you only got one pitch that's a swing and miss pitch, eventually they're going to learn to lay off the other stuff, and they're going to be all over you.
That's right.
And I don't think it's necessarily a physical stamina issue. I just think it's his stuff doesn't translate to 2 times through the order. I agree. He almost always starts off well. I like him out of the bullpen. I think he could fill the Adam Warren role nicely.
Yes, bingo. And that's what I was going to say, that Adam Warren. Back in the day, I know this is going to be a really strange name, but maybe some fans will recognize it. Remember Jeff Karstens?
Oh, yeah.
And he found some success out of the bullpen. Every now and then a starter. Like you said, Adam Warren. Even there's another. I don't know why I'm thinking of this era of the Yankees. Darryl Rasner will be pitching. As a starting pitcher, he's going to be good. Didn't do it, but out of the pen, it was a little bit better. Then he went to Japan and was actually pretty decent. But
those guys are important. You know,
they are
Alfredo
very
Estevez.
important.
I remember Alfredo Estevez. Yeah, I think he went 10-0 one year.
Yeah, dynasty year, Ramiro Mendoza.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, these guys are important. We got our first super chat from my guy, Ra Thompson, says Yankees can't overthink this. They need to keep Brito here. Keep rewarding players that perform, period. Yeah. I mean, that sums it up.
That shouldn't be too hard. I mean, look, if a guy plays well, he should continue to play. That's as simple as it gets.
Well, let's actually get to that. Let's talk about somebody right now early on who, you know, you're already starting to see some of the ugliness of Twitter, some of the ugliness of being a ball player for the New York Yankees, and that is Anthony Volpe's start right now with the New York Yankees. Now, I have been on Twitter, I have been in game season lives, and I'm continuing to tell people, folks, look, I understand. I get it. It's not the start that we want. It's not the start that Anthony Volpe wants. It's not the start that anybody wants. But folks, we are a little over a week into the season. Let this kid be and let him get a chance to either succeed or not succeed or be decent. But can we give him a little bit of time here?
Yeah. So there's two things I want to do. One, I want to talk about this tweet from James Smythe. He said that last year, Adley Rutschman hit 176 with no home runs in his first 20 games. And we see what kind of player he's become already. It's, you know, it's evident. Julio Rodriguez started on opening day, hit 205 with no home runs in his first 20 games. I think we're just seeing that. I think we're just seeing the adjustment period. And somebody in my chat said, in response to me saying, let's give him some time. You know, a lot of guys, their first 150 plate appearances or so are tough. They said, but Judge had a home run in his first at bat.
Oh, look what Judge did after that.
Judge also hit 179 over the next 3 months.
What did he strike out? 40% of his at bats that first, something like that? Insane amounts. I mean, come on.
First at bat doesn't really mean a whole lot. I mean, if you look at two batters or the batter before him was what was his name? Tyler Austin.
Tyler Austin, yeah.
And where the hell's he now? He had a home run in his first.
I believe right
exactly.
now. So, yeah.
So, you know, so I wouldn't read too much into the first week. If it's June and he's hitting 140, then yeah, you probably got to do the uncomfortable thing and send him down.
Yeah,
but I want to give him a couple of months and see him adjust. I want to see him get through the league a little bit. Right now, the league is throwing him that high fastball, same thing that they're doing with Oswaldo Cabrera. And the problem with Volpe so far is that they're calling it for a strike on him because he's got kind of a smaller strike zone. So he's got to hit it. He's got to find a way to hit it and adjust to it. I think Cabrera is maybe a little bit taller, so it's a little bit higher in the zone, so he doesn't always get it called. So if he could just lay off it, I think he'll do better with that. But Volpe, he's kind of got to swing at it, and I just think that he's got to take some time to adjust, and it'll come around.
No doubt about it. I mean, Anthony Volpe, again, you know, he wasn't just rated one of the Yankees' top prospects; he's rated one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball. Now, again, I think there was very much unreal expectations. One, and I think that's a fair thing to bring up right now is because I've always said it. Let the guy be the guy he's going to be. Forget the comparisons. Forget he's going to be a 320 guy. Guys, look, a lot of guys in Major League Baseball no longer hit 320. Yeah. That's a rare thing in baseball nowadays. You know, the 340 averages, the 320s, the 315s, 330s, that is almost, I don't want to say it's a thing of the past because there's guys that still do it. But it's not the majority of the league anymore. I mean, guys are not doing. Jeter hit 340 when you didn't win a batting title. Yeah. I mean, these things happen. So I've set my expectations for Anthony Volpe, and I said it before the season began. Rewind the tapes and go see it. Give me 240, 250. Yeah. If he hits 20 bombs, I'm ecstatic, and he steals 20 plus bases, I'm the happiest guy in the world.
Let me ask you a question. He hit leadoff for most of spring. Do you think it's maybe thrown him off a little bit that he's got to wait a little bit longer to hit?
It could. You know, typically before that, he probably knows I'm starting this game off immediately. I'm batting. So, yeah, it probably is a little bit of an adjustment. I do like in his interview, he mentioned how the guys have been really supportive. And they're recognizing, hey, you know, you look down, you're upset, you're struggling. And they've been there for him. When he got that triple, everybody was, you know, pounding him, hey, kid, you know, you belong here. You know what I mean? You belong here. Let's see you do it. And when I watch Anthony Volpe, I said this on Twitter the other day. I said, you guys are beating this kid up already. The kid hasn't even stung a baseball yet. Yeah. He finally hit his first hard ball, a triple, the other night. Let's give the guy some time. Look, being 5'9" and driving the ball 370, 340, 360, 380 to right center field is not an easy thing to do. Volpe does it naturally.
Yeah.
This is a guy that has a lot of potential.
I will say this. I don't buy the StatCast that said that wouldn't have gone out at Yankee Stadium.
Oh, that's a home run at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at one thing I think that those would it dong kind of sites ignore is how well the ball carries in certain parts.
Correct. They definitely don't think about that.
And the thing about Yankee Stadium is not only do you have the short right field porch, but the ball carries well to right field.
That's right.
He hit a high pop up to right field. I think that was 3 rows deep. I think it was gone at Yankee Stadium personally.
No question. No doubt in my mind, I think that ball is gone. And, I mean, look, the one thing even in spring training we saw from Volpe, and if anybody who watched them last year, you'll notice also, the other thing that you got to also remember, when a guy sometimes struggles with the bat, it carries over in the field. We haven't seen that. Anthony still looked good in the field. There was the one little play where even he was like, I should have made it. Okay. Those, it is, and nobody's making excuses for him. So I don't want to, no. When guys struggle with the bat, a lot of times you do see that carry over on the field. I have not seen Anthony Volpe make any play that I said, you know what? This guy's not that good of a shortstop when I watch him play a defense.
On the contrary, I think he's made a couple of plays that have surprised me, like his arm.
I agree.
There was one where I think it was Gleyber was supposed to cover second base, and he didn't. So Volpe had to throw flat-footed to first base, and he put a little something on it. And I was like, dang, he's got a little velo in his bag there. His range has been good, too, I think.
His range has been terrific. And just the one last thing on Anthony Volpe is you see a lot of the StatCast numbers come out, and, there's the one that he has some of the lowest exit velocities in baseball, even dating until the beginning of spring training when he performed very well. To me, still early sample size, not a concern. I'm not totally overly concerned with that. You also hear about what you just brought up, that his arm velocity is almost in the same range as Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is. Here's the big difference. He's a lot quicker with the snap. He's a lot faster to his feet. He's a lot faster getting the ball off. And has great baseball IQ that the mind's already made up in what he's doing. So he plays the game faster. Yeah. So a lot of times you compare those numbers, it's up to the player. It depends on who that player is. And to me, I am nowhere near ready to beat up on Anthony Volpe yet at all.
I'm just looking at his StatCast numbers. I didn't even realize they were out yet. But so far this year in the league, he's in the 74th percentile of sprint speed and the 76th percentile and outs above average at short. So he's a top 25% of the league defensive shortstop in his first week in the major leagues.
That's huge.
Offensively, yeah, the exit velocity is bad, but the hard hit percentage is really bad. So you would expect the exit velocity to be bad.
And that's what I'm saying. He hasn't stung nothing. Like,
right.
Let's wait till we see this kid get a little more confidence on there. Because look, Rich Ritsushi in the chat, I love that he brings this up a lot, and it makes sense. He says, guys, Major League Baseball is not easy.
Right.
This is not something new, but it's a good thing sometimes to bring yourself back on and go, the kid's 20, 21, 22. Baseball's not easy. It's not an easy game to play. He skipped AAA. Do I agree with that? I agree with him skipping AAA. Let him learn at the Major League level. Give him time. On top of that, Anthony Volpe should not be the guy that any Yankee fan is relying on to be this beast and drive all these runs in.
It's a bonus getting to watch him play this year and getting to watch him develop. I'm just saying, sit back and enjoy it.
Bingo.
There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs.
Bingo.
You're giving him a hard time now, guys. But when he, hits 300 for a month and hits 3 or 4 big home runs and makes a couple of great plays and turns the city around, you're going to be on the bandwagon like that. So just get on the bandwagon early, and then you don't have to be embarrassed about it.
Well, speaking of, no, you're 100% right. Speaking of the guys who carry the load, this was a load right here from Giancarlo Stanton. So I got to go ahead and Derek, please give us some conversation while I show this of Big G.
So first of all of your load discussion is going to be in the out of context reel for sure. First shout out to Frankie Baseball.
Yes.
Giancarlo's locked in. I tweeted the other night, just the way he was fouling pitches off. A lot of times with the foul balls that somebody has, you can tell that they're locked in because he's not falling off of balance. Everything that he hit, was hard, even if it was out of play. And it seems like when he barrels it up, it's a line drive, left field, right field, or in the seats. So, what we're seeing from Giancarlo is a guy that is comfortable, that's healthy, and I think he's going to have a big year. I've been saying for a couple of months now, I think he's going to hit 40 plus for the first time as a Yankee. I don't know if he's going to hit 50 plus. I don't think he's going to play in enough games to hit 50 plus. Right. But I think he's I think he's going to hit 260 with 44 home runs, something like that this year. Which I tell you what, I'll sign up for it.
Oh, no doubt about it. I think he looks phenomenal. I like his plate coverage today. Just slapped the ball to right field for a base hit. I mean, when G is on. And he just gets in those hot streaks and he's locked in. There's nobody better in baseball. I mean, you also brought up the StatCast numbers that he just blows everybody away with 116 plus miles an hour. Isn't there's like a difference between him and Judge of like what, 80?
Something like that.
Something like that. It's insane.
It's ridiculous. And you just brought up a great point. First at bat today, 2 runners on. A lot of guys who are hitting in the 4-hole are thinking 3-run home run there. No. Yeah. He looked for the first outside fastball, took what he got, and just slapped it into right field.
Yep.
Brought in the run. That's winning baseball. That's how you're supposed to play the game. There's a time to go for the 3-run home run. And maybe if he got a hanging slider, maybe you take that big cut. But right there, he's giving you an easy fastball. He's not allowing himself to fall behind in the count and get into a tough position. He's being aggressive. He's probably looking for that fastball and saying, hey, if I get it, I'm going to just smoke it to right field. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, again, by just watching him the first couple of games of the season, for me, the thing that stands out is play coverage. Somebody in the chat here, Johnny Jones, is saying he's only struck out 3 times. If that's accurate, I mean, I'm not 100% sure if that is correct for the season. But if it is, it proves that point that, like you're saying it too, he's being a little more aggressive early in the count. He's laid off some really good pitches. I love the way he's covering the outside corner. He's just taking the ball to right field when it's thrown there. So Big G is locked in, and he is a very, very important part of this team going forward. No question. A healthy Big G, Aaron Judge in there. Even though DJ LeMahieu had a tough game today, he had about 2 hits robbed from him yesterday.
Yeah, he's hitting the ball hard.
He's hitting the ball really, really hard. Really hard.
You mentioned G swinging early in the count. Do you remember 2017? There was all that talk about can Judge avoid striking out 200 plus times?
Yes.
And early in the season, he was swinging very early in the count and taking advantage of those fastballs. I wonder if Giancarlo's just kind of following that playbook, saying, hey, look, I'm not going to allow myself to strike out that much this year. I'm just going to be more aggressive. And he's just banking on himself that he's going to hit the ball. Like you mentioned, he hits it so hard that he's just banking on himself, putting up numbers just if you swing it more pitches in the zone. DJ, look, I think he's fully back. I worry about him playing every day. I just think he's going to – I think he's going to break down. I do think that it's interesting that they called up Willie Calhoun in the outfield. I think one thing you might see this week is Calhoun out there and Cabrera at third base, because without Donaldson, they're going to need to find somebody to give DJ a day off. I guess you can go with Isaiah kind of for left, but
IKF too.
Nobody wants to see him play.
Nobody at all wants to see that, but we probably we just might. But speaking of the Yankees outfield, there's a Yankee outfielder right now who is starting to surprise a lot of people. I call him El Franchy, baby, because he has been on fire for the Yankees. Another big home run today from Franchy Cordero, as we're seeing that right now here in Camden Yards. Give the Yankees a 4-0 lead at this point. But Cordero just looks like one of those potential Brian Cashman dumpster dive finds, right? Doesn't he kind of feel that way?
We get on him for not signing Bryce Harper, for not making the obvious moves, but he does pick up these kind of diamond in the rough guys every once in a while. Matt Carpenter last year went berserk.
Yeah, that's right.
I was a little bit worried when we lost Carpenter because we don't have a lot of other left-handed power bats.
Right.
And I think that, Franchy is one of those guys that if they could just unlock something, he hits the ball so hard. If they could fix his launch angle, maybe create a little bit more contact. I was actually looking at his swing from last couple of years, some highlights versus what he's doing this year. To me, it looks like his hands are a little closer to his body, which keeps his barrel a little bit closer to the inner half of the plate, which you're just a little bit more contact, and then just choosing the right pitches to swing at. That's a big part of the Yankees' philosophy. I really think the Yankees might have unlocked something. It might be too early, and it might be one of those things where I believe it because it fits my narrative and I want it to be true.
Of course.
But fuck it. This is sports. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think he's breaking out. I think he's going to have a really nice, impactful season for the Yanks.
Man, when I watched him, I was joking around today, and like you just said, I hope it's accurate. I was saying, hey, maybe you got a little, maybe you found a little Big Papi here. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be a Hall of Famer, but if Cordero could be a guy that even if he just starts against righties and he just bats very well against right today too, another good thing, stood in there against the lefty and drilled a base at the right field. So maybe that was him saying, hey, Aaron Boone, let's not pinch hit me when I'm hot. Let me get the chance, okay? With IKF of all people.
IKF.
Speaking of that,
that must be the first time he's ever pinch hit for somebody, right?
Gotta be. I gotta bring this up. Did you read or hear Boone's comments about not pinch hitting Hicks over IKF in that moment?
I did not.
He said, no joke, and you guys could go look this up. You don't have to believe me. Go look it up. He said, in that situation, we're looking for a hit, not an on-base situation.
I'd have to go back and look at the situation, but...
So it basically sounds like he's saying, if I need somebody up there to get a hit, I'd rather IKF. Hicks. And it's not going to be Hicks. If I need somebody to get on base, I'll get Hicks up there.
If I need to send Roger Dorn up there to get hit by the pitch. No, I can see it. They were probably in a situation where they needed contact. Now that I think about it, it was a lefty. They probably like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's ability to make contact off a lefty versus Franchy in a big spot. I hear you, but Franchy had just hit a 3-run home run. I know the Yankees don't believe in hot, but if you ask any athlete,
that's so bad, man.
That
is so bad.
There's a certain mental component that I think the Yankees they overlook, like the whole thing with playing the Boston Red Sox comeback last year. That's a psych out. You can be psyched out. It's a thing, but you can also be psyched in is the wrong way to say this, but you can be in the zone, right?
Yeah,
and I feel like if you're getting an opportunity to play for the Yankees, you hit a big 3-run home run, you're amped up, right? Why pinch hit for that guy? I'd say let him stay in there. I get the lefty thing, but in that situation, you got to stay with the hot hand.
And against a team that released them. So there's a little chip on his shoulder there, too.
That's a good point.
A lot of that stuff does come into play, and look how well he's played against Baltimore. I mean, he did have the big double at Yankee Stadium on Monday, I believe that was. So, but Cordero looks like a guy that looks really, really good. And just as some people were getting concerned with our captain, our MVP, Aaron James Judge, Derek, he goes off today. What do you think about the start of Aaron Judge?
Well, I think that, a lot of people are saying he can't do what he did last year and, he'll never do it again. And, that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. And, he'll probably hit 45 home runs and yada, yada, yada. Never hit 300 again. Never hit 300 before. Look, he's a different kind of athlete. I just went and saw this movie about the Michael Jordan shoe called Air. And they make a big deal about how Michael Jordan was relaxed when he got the big shot in the college basketball game to win it for UNC. And there's just a certain mind state that great athletes have. You can't hit 62 home runs without being that kind of great. You can't go from a guy who hits 179 as a rookie and looks completely lost to next year hitting 52 home runs and nearly winning the MVP. Probably should have won the MVP.
Oh, no doubt.
He hears people say, you can't do this again. You can't hit 70. You can't hit 62 again. It'll never happen. That was once. He hears this, and I guarantee you he won't say it, but he's going to the gym and he's saying, all right, I'm going to show you.
Oh, no doubt about it. Aaron Judge is just, you could tell he's one of those guys that, doubt me and you're going to likely be proven wrong. Derek, I think before the season began, you said that you think he's going to have a very, very big season. And it wouldn't shock you if, I don't want to speak for you, but I think you gave a home run total that you wouldn't be shocked he goes over.
Yeah. It wouldn't shock me if he, gets close to 70. I mean, look, there's I mentioned that growing up, he was a Giants fan. Everybody knows that. Barry Bonds was in his heyday as Judge was growing up.
That's right.
And if you think that he's not mentally thinking about breaking that record, I guarantee he had a Bonds poster on his wall.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
He's got the best shot to break that record of anybody. He knows that. And he knows if he doesn't do it, it might be another generation before somebody does. And I just picture him with a list on the wall of records to break, and he's got Maris crossed out, McGuire's next, or Sosa's next, and then McGuire, and then he's got Bonds at the top. And I just feel like he's crossing off names, and every single day that he goes deep, I just feel a little bit more confident that he can do it. Eventually, they're going to have to stop pitching to him, but the problem with that is Rizzo's been great without the shift. Rizzo's having a great start.
I was about to say, Rizzo's Stanton behind him. I mean, that means a lot. That means a lot.
So I'm feeling great about Judge.
Would you, a quick question, because this was another topic that people were bringing up in the chat today. Would you like to see the Yankees lineup looking something different up top, or are you still comfortable with the LeMahieu Judge, or do you think it's time that Judge goes to that 3-hole?
So the data will tell you that the number 2 hole gets more RBI opportunities over the course of the season than the number 3 hole, and probably about 10 or 15 at bats. Given the rate that Aaron Judge hits home runs, I'll take the 2 home runs over putting him in the 3 hole. A-Rod used to hit in the 2 hole when he was with Seattle. I thought he was great.
Yep.
Didn't do as great in the number 3 hole with the Yankees. Jeter was great. Got a ton of opportunities, ton of big hits in the number 2 hole. Look, I like the number 2 spot with Rizzo hitting behind him. I think eventually, once Volpe starts hitting, I would go with Volpe at the leadoff spot.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Just because I want to get him more fastballs ahead of Judge, more fastballs to hit as a rookie. But also, Judge hits one in a gap, he might be able to score from first base.
No doubt.
He'll probably steal some bases, which might, cause you to pitch around Judge. But with the protection, it's really hard to put runners on first and second with nobody out in the first inning for Anthony Rizzo in Yankee Stadium. You're just asking for trouble. With looking at Giancarlo on deck, who, seems like he's going to have a monster season. I feel really good about the Yankees' top 4. I would love to see Bader come back and squeeze into that number 5, number 6 hole. And Torres. We haven't talked about Torres because the last couple of days he hasn't hit a home run, but he looks very comfortable this year.
Yeah, the best thing about Gleyber Torres is the bat is staying in the zone very long, which means he's going to right field often. And he's even looking to right field. This is something I brought up last year towards the end of the year when he got hot. I just said, you got to start going to right field. Your mind got to be center right. Forget left field. Your mind got to be center right. You get one of those hangers, you could drive the ball to left. You got that type of power and bat speed. But Gleyber Torres has to be focused on right field. Now, does Gleyber Torres still do things that drive me nuts? Yes, he did it today. He hit a ground ball, the first baseman bobbled it, and Gleyber's head is down, jogging to first base. Not running. Cabrera hits the ball hard, a bullet to first, and he almost beats it out because he's busting it down the line. And I don't know, maybe I'm old school in that regard, but I just don't think it's asking much for a guy to run to first base hard every time.
It takes no talent to hustle. No talent whatsoever to hustle.
And maybe that's just me as how I would manage things, but I would never let a guy get away with that. I know baseball's a little different nowadays. I get that. You want to be a little careful with, guys potentially getting injured. But no doubt about what you're saying. I mean, Gleyber looks good. And, there was the idea that maybe Oswald Peraza eventually, he's, sporting a little bit of a hamstring issue at the moment. But even so, I got to give some love to Oswald Peraza because he hasn't gone to AAA and put his head down and crossed his legs and said, I'll just, I'll get up there one day. I deserve it. He's gone down there and played. He's got up to a good start. He's hitting almost 290-something, 5 stolen bags already, a couple of doubles, I think 5 RBIs. He's looked very, very good. He's looked really, really good. And that's the type of stuff you want to see from your young players. And if there is an injury, if Donaldson's down longer, if something happens to somebody else, you want to put yourself in that position where the team goes, we got no other choice. Come up here. And then you got to really take off. And he's playing second base and shortstop. So that's a good sign too. They're not just sticking him at short and going whatever. I still feel, even though if I don't necessarily feel like the Yankees are the highest on him, and I might be wrong about that, I'm just kind of going based off the actions we've seen early on, maybe they still do feel that up the middle is Volpe and Peraza.
Maybe. Look, Gleyber's gotten off to the kind of start where you can't get him out of there. I mean, he might have one of those Gleyber type seasons from years past, so you got to stick with him. But if Peraza's playing really well in the minor leagues and you're also getting production out of third base from DJ, it puts the Yankees in a tough spot. They might be forced to deal him at the deadline. And because you've got Volpe, and he's your shortstop, he's 21 years old, I don't think they're going to feel as hesitant this year to make a trade of dealing a shortstop to, a different team that has a pitcher they could use. I still feel good about Peraza, but it's just it's an unfortunate situation that he couldn't be on the roster. I would love to see him here.
Yep, definitely, no doubt about it. And before I get into the Yankees' upcoming series, I gotta ask you a question because now we're about a little more than a week into the season. Do you see Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks making it the entire season with the Yankees?
Donaldson, maybe. Aaron Hicks, absolutely not.
I can't. I think Aaron Hicks is they're gonna have to release him. They're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a trade. I think Aaron Hicks is gonna be released. Man, look, I said it the other day when he got the base hit up the middle. I'm like, people don't understand because we do daily content. We do content all the time. So yeah, sometimes we're gonna come across as, hey, you don't like this guy. For me, it's just always about production. It's always about production. When Aaron Hicks got the hit, I cheered. I was happy. I said, look, man, I want Aaron Hicks to get a hit every time he comes up. You might not believe that as a fan watching. I want him to get a hit every single time he bats.
Yeah.
Fact of the matter is, Derek, when I watch this guy play, I just no longer see a major league player. Not an everyday starter. I don't see a major league player no more.
Sure. There's a scene in the movie Little Big League where the kid is a really big fan of this player who's been on the team for a long time. His name is Jerry. I don't remember his last name, but he gets a seeing eye single, and the manager of this kid, he goes, yeah, great hit. And the coach says, don't you think there's something wrong when we're getting this excited over seeing eye single through the infield? And I had that same thought when everybody was going bonkers because Hicks got a game-tying single the other night. It was a routine ground ball. That just happened to be
ground ball up the
middle.
Yep.
If he'd hit a 3-run shot into the bullpen, yeah, maybe I'd have been a little bit more excited.
Yeah.
I think he's mentally defeated. We've seen a lot of guys get mentally defeated by New York. The problem is you've got to produce or you've got to have thick skin, right? He's not producing and he doesn't have thick skin. It's a bad combination.
Right.
There's just one more movie reference, if I may. There in Hannibal, which is the sequel to Silence of the Lambs. Hannibal talks about these roller pigeons, how you can't breed two deep rollers or their young will crash all the way into the ground. You got to have a shallow roller and a deep roller together. I feel like you combine the wrong traits and you get a nosedive right into the side of a mountain. And I feel like that's what Aaron Hicks has right now.
Yeah, no question. And I do like the way he was booed. Let me rephrase that. I don't like the way he was booed in New York. I like the way Aaron Boone talked about it afterwards. He didn't say, the fans are giving him a tough time. He said, hey, look, you got to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, at this point now, for the people that go, oh, I feel sorry for Aaron Hicks. I said this the other night. Guys, look, nobody did this to themselves but Aaron Hicks.
Yeah.
He's came out and made the statements he's made. Nobody said, hey, brother, look, here's the deal, Aaron, how do you feel about your season so far? Nobody said, hey, talk about how you feel. Like, you need to be playing, right? He came out and in this couple of sentences said I about 9 times.
Yeah.
I want to start. And people go, what'd you expect him to say? Maybe the common theme of when I play, I need to produce.
Yeah.
When the skip puts me in, I need to be prepared. The common answer. He's digging his own hole, man. He just keeps doing it.
Last year, I think it was Derek Jeter that said they boo because they want to cheer.
Yep.
And I feel like the louder you get booed or the harder you get booed, it's because they've been waiting to cheer you longer, right?
That's right.
The longer you wait to give the fans something to cheer for, they start to turn that energy in a different direction, right? It's a spectrum where it's like, we want you, we're excited for you, we're excited for you, we're excited, and then it's like, all right, you suck, we hate you.
It does. It goes. You're right. There's like a
keep
meter.
it in that. Yeah, you got to keep it in that nice zone.
There is like a legit Yankee meter where it's like, we got, look, man, we seen it with, and that's why I didn't like Michael K's comments the other day. When he talked about the Aaron Hicks situation, and some people go, "Oh, Pete, you read that wrong. He wasn't comparing." The point wasn't that he was comparing. The point was that Volpe and Cabrera's name was even mentioned. It's, to me, beyond insane.
Yeah.
Beyond insane. To me, there was no point of even saying, well, Cabrera's looked really bad in his at-bats. He struck out a lot. And look, Volpe's not even hitting. But the fans are choosing the one guy. Well, Michael, look, man. You know you've been here. You've watched every one of these games. This is not a brand new thing. This has been going on for 3 years now, if not longer than that. This is not new.
Yeah, a lot of people talk about how smart the Yankees fans are, and I think they're smarter than to boo a guy, most of us anyway, after a few games. So, of course, we're going to give the rookie the benefit of the doubt, make him feel local kid, just did a hell of a job in spring training to make the team still a story, and everybody's cheering for him because they want that first home run. They want that first big hit. They want that Yankee moment. They want the Hollywood story, the feel-good story. The reason that they boo Hicks isn't because he's not a homegrown player. It's because he sucks and he makes $70 million. That's why they boo him. I work my ass off, and I still don't make enough money to do the shit I want to do. This guy spends half the time golfing, the other half, buying jewelry and striking out. Fuck him. Yeah. Let him get booed.
I'm right there. I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Look. And you know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to move on from Aaron Hicks because he doesn't deserve this much time on this show to be discussed, all right? Aaron Hicks, play and hit the fucking ball, would you? That's all we really care about. So, looking forward, the Yankees are going to finish the road trip. They got 3 against the Guardians, and then they go home for quite a bit of time. They got 4 against the Twins, 3 against the Angels, and then 3 against the Toronto Blue Jays. Finishing off the month, they go right back on the road. They got 3 against the Twins again, and then 4 against the Texas Rangers. Where the Yankees stand right now, how do you feel about the rest of this road trip coming up against the Guardians?
So the Guardians are the team that scares me the most out of that whole group. Well, the Blue Jays are going to be tough, but the Guardians, something about the way they play with the speed and the contact, those bloopers tend to kill us. I'm worried that Joey Gallo's going to hit 5 home runs against us in those 2 series. I'm going to lose my mind if that happens. If Joey Gallo crushes the Yankees and doesn't get one in the ribs, I'm going to lose. God. It's going to be, I don't care if the Yankees win the game. If Joey Gallo hits 2 home runs, I'm going to spend the entire recap just ripping the Yankees.
Yeah, no doubt. So, guys, do me a favor. Before we get ready to wrap this up, I need a couple of things done. 1, smash the like button. 2, follow Derek on NYY Recaps. And 3, leave us a 5-star review on Apple. So, the link is pinned right there in the chat. Go in there. Look, man, we're climbing the charts, the Designated Spittaz. So let's keep that rolling. We want to climb all the way to the top. And remember, too, if you want to catch the follow-up, guys, it's always on Spotify. You can watch the full video on Spotify. Also, Apple, you're just going to hear it. Spotify, you can watch it. And, of course, YouTube, you can also watch it. Derek, what do you got coming up on the channel? Anything special?
Just recaps this week. I don't have any scheduled interviews, recaps, and then NYYPD. We're starting to sink into the regular rhythm of the season, which I like. Yeah. I'm one of those routine guys. I like to get up in the morning and work on my highlights, and then I spend the day doing, marketing work, and then in the evenings I fire up the recap, and then I go to bed a happy man usually with the Yankees. So
he just summed up his whole life during his time, everybody.
Honestly, I'm living the dream, man. Like if you squeeze in like some pizza, a couple nice sausages once in a while, we're fucking straight.
That's all that makes this man happy. He's a very simple man to please, all right? It's not difficult at all. But no, over here on this side, look, I'm excited where the Yankees are right now. Yeah, no doubt about it, there's concerns. Shout out to Carlos Rodon, who gave his wife gave birth to a baby boy.
Yes, congrats on
Carlos
the
great observation today. He was holding the baby with the left hand. The left arm is good, okay? He had him on the forearm. The baby was there. I expect him to be on the mound very soon, damn it. Just because of that. But I forget about all these guys. I know. When are we expecting him back?
Last I heard was that he was about a month away, and that was at the end of March. So you would think.
Well, didn't something come out that he was going to throw a simulated game?
I heard that. I haven't really been keeping up with the injury stuff as well as I should. I would love to see everybody come back, start rolling back in around May 1st. That would be nice to get the Bader, the Severino, the Rodon all at the same time. I think they're really going to start rolling, but you got to keep everybody healthy up until that point. And if you lose somebody else key up in that point, it doesn't help you out. So let's keep everybody healthy.
Facts. Keep everybody healthy. We completely didn't even talk about Nestor Cortes, but Nestor Cortes is the real deal, man. Yeah. He's the real deal.
Consistent.
Yeah. There's no more talk about Nestor Cortes. Is he a top 1 through 3 type arm? I don't think Nestor Cortes has much else to prove anymore that he's a top starter in the Yankees rotation by far.
He looks great. Let's talk bullpen for a second, if you don't mind.
Please.
Clay Holmes has looked really good the last couple of nights.
Phenomenal today, man.
The sinker was diving.
Movement.
What do you think about Michael King, the velocity being down? Are you concerned a little bit?
Bro, I tell you what, man. I'm calling him yesterday. I said, good, he had a clean inning, but I'm still very concerned. He's not the same at 92, 93. He's just not.
That's kind of what I said on my recap too. I don't remember the exact way I phrased it, which was, but essentially it was worked a good couple of innings, but I'm still not sold yet.
You can't be, man. I mean, here's a guy who last year would top out sometimes at 99 miles an hour, 98, and right now, you're happy when you see 95.
Yeah.
It's a big difference. You talked about that earlier. I mean, when guys are sitting there going, oh man, King's coming in, and then they see him pitching and go, whoa, this don't look the same. You notice that. You're like, this is not the same type of pitcher. Now, to be fair, his movement was really good. He had great inside-out movement to lefties. He was hitting that corner, coming in and then dotting the corner. He looked good there. Jhony Cordero doesn't look great. He looked better in spring. He hasn't got off to the greatest start in the world. Still throws very hard. Got great movement, great changeup. Ian Hamilton looks good.
Oh, I like that slambio.
Yeah.
That's filthy.
Ian Hamilton looks very, very good. So I'm not concerned about that. Wandy looks fantastic.
Wandy's reliable. Wandy's like a Honda. You just get in and drive it every day.
He's going to be done. You want something to get you there every day and not worry about it. Get a Wandy. Get a Wandy Peralta. If you get a Wandy Peralta, he'll take you to A to B very easily. And then, who was the other name I just wanted to mention? Matt Crook is going to be up at some point. Crook is going to be up at some point to be the other lefty. The Yankees don't have him starting now, so I think they're basically saying he's going to be another lefty out the pen. And he got good stuff overall, so there's a lot of good. There is some concern. I'm very, very happy with the bounce back from Clay Holmes because that's the main guy they need. Yeah. They need Clay Holmes being good. So
Marinaccios look good.
Marinaccio looks very good. He looks phenomenal. Throwing hard. He's hitting 97, 98. He's of course got the great changeup. So he looks fantastic. So there's definitely positives.
Do you get the idea that maybe Marinaccio is one of those guys who's kind of quiet, but on the inside he's like a killer? He's just a competitive killer.
He's a serial killer. I think he's a serial killer. Right? A story's gonna come out that he is a ball player / serial killer.
Oh man!
And that's it. And he'll be the next. No, let me not say that because if that comes true, that'll be terrible.
That feels like a good wrapping point.
I tell you what, but that would be an amazing Netflix series.
It would be.
It'd be an amazing Netflix series. Oh yeah, real quick, guys. All Rise is on tomorrow morning. Leave a voicemail 804-592-6160. 804-592-6160. We'll be ready to rock and roll with that. But Derek, any last words you want to leave the fans with?
Just give Volpe some time. It's an adjustment process. Really, you can't make any judgments until we see him for a few months.
Yep, no doubt about it. And guys, last but not least, reminder, leave that feedback on Designated Spittaz on Apple Podcast. Right now, we are at 30 reviews. Let's get like 30-something more. There's a lot of you in here. All of you could do that real quick. So go ahead and do that. Blow it up. Let's get me and Derek to the top of those charts. Take some of those other guys out. Have a little fun. Throw a little wrench into the regular machine. Let's do that. So as we like to say here, guys, we will never come whack on a Designated Spittaz track. Derek, my friend, until next time, adios. We are out.
Before it hits the front